Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Continuing in our journey of how to learn the Arabic language, the inner dimensions and mysteries of the Arabic language, we finally come to the understanding of how to learn words, how to actually learn the lexicon, how to concretely begin to speak Arabic words, and therefore become Arabic in that very deep sense that I mentioned at the beginning. So we have come on this very long journey. In fact, if we quickly, it is even possible to go all the way back to the beginning, it's quite a lot. All the way at the beginning, we spoke about this cosmological understanding of the Arabic language. We spoke about the different dimensions of the Arabic language. We had this understanding that the Arabic language is not a representation of reality, but that it is reality itself. It is the logos, to use a Greek word. The kalimatullah in Arabic, these are not representations, but these are the underlying essences and archetypes of the things themselves. We spoke about grammar. We spoke about how grammar, therefore, represents reality. If grammar is the mathematical structure of the Arabic language, then to study Arabic grammar is really to study the language, the mathematical language of reality, just to study what the universe is at this cosmological level. We spoke about the letters. On one hand, you have the mathematical structural dimension of the Arabic language. On the other, we have the dimension of meaning, this qualitative dimension, the spiritual dimension. That where does meaning, ma'ana, come from? And we said that the letters are the singularities of the breath of God, Nafasul Rahman. That it is the pure effusion of unity, the pure breath of oneness, for God is pure oneness. These manifestations of oneness, these meanings which are hidden inside of oneness, these are the letters. In fact, I might add, there's a very famous hadith. I don't think I gave it here. I'll write the first bit over here. It's one hadith, hadith Qudsi, where God himself speaks upon the tongue of the Prophet. He says that كنت كنزا مخفيا كنت كنزا مخفيا, that I was a hidden treasure, that I was an infinite mystery, that God is pure oneness, but that oneness is an infinite oneness. It contains infinite mystery. Therefore, you have this fulguration, this emanation of pure light and splendor from that oneness of God. That is the cosmos. Tajalli, another Arabic word. The world is the tajalli, the manifestation of God. It is the revelation of God, the revelation of his beauty. The first tajalli of God, the first manifestation of God are the Arabic letters, these pure archetypes of meaning, these purely spiritual substances. And this emanation then takes the form of more and more complex multiplicity, which eventually forms the entire world as it is. That is the process of creation. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. We spoke about the secrets of Arabic letters. Of course, this science is known to God alone. Because if you understand this, the Arabic letters, they are of God and they are God. So no one can understand this ilm al-huruf, but by the will of God. لا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء. That we cannot encompass, come around this knowledge, consume this knowledge. To encompass knowledge means that it is inside of us. We have literally consumed it. Even as we eat food, we digest it. The food literally becomes one with our substance. That is what eating is, and that is why eating is such a spiritual act which must be guarded. What we feast upon, what we eat, we are becoming, it's becoming a part of us. We feast not only with the mouth, but with the eyes, with the ears, with all of our senses. We are consuming, eating, and the heart, the spirit, also has a sustenance. Even as the body must eat, must take nourishment, so the spirit must eat. This food of the spirit is knowledge. The food of the spirit, which sustains it, which it lives upon, is knowledge. Not mere knowledge of things, it's the knowledge of God. That is why a heart which has not the knowledge of God is a dead heart. It has died of starvation. But a heart which has been fed this knowledge of God is alive. This life is a spiritual life. It's come from knowledge. And we cannot demand God his food. It is a banquet which he invites us to. We have to receive this invitation and therefore feast upon the spiritual knowledge. What is interesting is that the word for a banquet table in Arabic is ma'duba. And ma'duba is derived from adab. I'll write it here actually. You may have heard this word before, adab. Now adab goes hand in hand with ilm. We cannot separate them. We might loosely translate adab as character, as manners, as refinement. Really, you must understand adab is ilm. It is an ilm which has come to the body itself, an ilm which has become realized at the structure of every tiny nerve in the body. That is ilm. That is adab. Adab is the apotheosis and culmination of ilm. When we have this adab before God, the propriety, when we know and understand our place before God, and therefore not only how to act, إن الله لا ينظر إلى أجسادكم ولا إلى صوركم لكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. Right? God does not look at our bodies. God does not look at our forms, our physical forms. That is not what he takes into consideration. That is not what is divine. That is not what is real. Because God is eternal, and the body is finite and temporal. So how can anything finite mean anything at all in front of that which is eternal? But it is what is infinite and eternal within ourselves. That is our heart, the soul, that is our actions. These are eternal. They are written, the amal is preserved. That is the true essence of the human being. And so that is the realization of this knowledge. It is how to be, not merely how to act, but how to be. And it is one of those things, of course, we need to have knowledge to know how to be. But then when we know how to be, we receive knowledge from God. So one might say this is kind of a loop. How can we escape from the loop? It seems like it's a self-circular. Well, that is precisely the thing. It's a cycle which we cannot breach. It has to be begun by something beyond ourselves. It has to be begun within divinity. But ultimately, we must receive knowledge from God. It cannot come from within ourselves because we are trapped inside of ourselves. But having received that knowledge, if we then act upon that knowledge, it bequeaths further knowledge. This is the idea in economics that there is always exponential growth. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's true. It's true not only on a physical level, because that's not the consideration. That shouldn't be our consideration. It's true on the spiritual level. Those who are spiritually rich will become ever richer. Those who have knowledge will get more knowledge. Those who have not knowledge will lose even what they have. Those who are spiritually bereft will become spiritually bankrupt and lose absolutely everything in the end. It's all or nothing. And that is why knowledge is the single greatest thing that we can have. It is the most valuable and precious thing which can ever exist. That is this, kuntu kanzan makhfiyan. I was a hidden treasure. What is a treasure? It is valuable. It is infinitely precious. That what is precious is the knowledge of God. The secret of secrets. The mystery of all mysteries and the holy of holies is the knowledge of God. That is the greatest thing that we can have. That is what this all symbolizes. The knowledge of the letters, the knowledge of the names, the knowledge of the Arabic language. It is the knowledge of God. And therefore it is not ultimately gotten by a class or a book or a course, but it is gotten by being received from a spiritual source. But now to continue. We have spoken about these mysteries of letters, spoken about the thrones of these letters, which are the forms of the words. And hither we culminated last time. Now the question is, we understand how words are formed. How do we learn words? Now this is coming into perhaps the actual practical dimension of this theoretical course. How do we actually learn the Arabic language? Now with all this in mind, everything I just spoke, we understand Arabic, we understand language as not a representation, right? It's not that we have reality here, and then we have language over here, and they are two separate things. This is the way we are taught to think about language. This is the way that modern linguistics conceives language, but no, it is not like this. The picture is like this. We have reality. We have reality, the universe, the kawn, the alam. The alam. Keep this word in mind. We are inside of this. Not only are we inside, it's not like, we are here in some part of the world. We are on some earth amongst many other earths, in some galaxy amongst many other galaxies, just in some random part of the cosmos by blind chance. No, not this, this. Not only are we a part of reality, we are the center of reality. That is the idea of the microcosmos. Reality is construed as a series of spheres. We are the inmost sphere at the center. Language is this. Language is this small circle inside of the bigger circle. Because now notice this, given a central point, this is purely mathematical. Any point over here can be projected from the circumference to the center. We can take this bigger circle and as it is, shrink it down. A dilation can bring this bigger circle down to the smaller circle. What that means is that, this is a beautiful thing, this small circle is equal to the bigger circle. It is a part inside of the bigger circle, but it is actually equal to the bigger circle. Don't believe me, just, well, think how it works, right? I take this, I shrink it down like this. But that means that this thing is a part of this, which is equal to it. That is a fractal. This most simple mathematical principle represents reality. This is what I mean by language. It's not just a representation of reality, it's a thing inside of reality. A word is a part of reality, right? It's a sound, if you want to use that understanding, something physical, a physical vibration, but it is everything, because everything is a physical vibration. Everything is a resonance and a harmony. But our language is a microcosm of the whole. But now this is the second point, right? Point number one, or maybe the third, but point number one, we and language is not a representation of reality, it is a part of reality. Point number two, it is a microcosm of reality, it is the center. Therefore, all of reality is contained inside of us. All of reality is conceived within language. Point number three, Not only is all of reality conceived inside of language, but language came first. The world was not created, whereupon humans were given language. Language is not a derivation of the world. Language came before the world. The Arabic language came before the world. For God spoke the world into being. Therefore, that speech, the kalimats, the divine archetypes in the mind of God, that was before the world. If this is our understanding of the Arabic language and our understanding of reality, it is hereupon that we pursue the learning of the Arabic language. I've given these two poles over here of meaning and structure, or meaning and symbol, you might say. What do we mean by symbols? What are these symbols? What are these signs? They are ayats. Perhaps now the picture is beginning to complete itself. Everything is an ayah. There's understanding that there are two Qur'ans. There are two Qur'ans which God has revealed. There is the Qur'an, the Mus'haf, the book, Al-Qur'an al-Kitab, the book of the Qur'an. There is another Qur'an, that is Al-Kawn, the cosmos. Again, like this, there is the macrocosmic Qur'an, which is the universe itself. The universe is speaking. The universe is alive. Everything is speaking. Everything is an ayah, pointing unto God. Inside of this macrocosmos, there is a microcosmos, which is the book, Al-Quran, the book which is contained inside of the world. But the metaphysical picture is the mirror image of the physical picture. Whereas physically, the book of the Quran is contained inside of the physical world. Metaphysically, metaphysically, the universe, the idea of the universe is contained inside the idea of the Quran, Ma'ani al-Quran. To bring this point even further home, the word alam is derived from the word ilm. In fact, this form, fa'al, means both the locus and the instrument by which a thing occurs. The alam is that in which ilm takes place. Moreover, it is the instrument by which ilm takes place. We live inside of the world, but by and through the world, we attain knowledge. The purpose of this entire alam is ilm. Al-ilmu billahi. In fact, ayah is on the same pattern of fa'al. Ayah has very much the same meaning if you study the meaning of ayah. In fact, one ayah is derived from the word iyah, iyatun, iyatun. Iyat literally means array. This array. Perhaps this is kind of mind blown now. Look at all these connections over here. The diagram I just drew is contained in the meaning of the ayah. An ayah is this thing over here, this ray of sunlight. That is al-iyatu, wa hiya al-ayatu. Something which points towards the center. Moreover, the word ilm, and I think this was the homework I said last time, is connected to the word alama. What is an alama? It is a sign. Ilm is to know something by its sign. Ilm is to know a thing by its sign. It is to read its sign and know therefore its meaning. That is the picture we have. Again, where are we going to? One more very fundamental principle. If you study any of the intellectual sciences, in particular logic, one of the first The most pivotal axioms that you will study is this over here. In Arabic it is الحكم على الشيء فرع عن تصوره. Here the word حكم means really property. Right, قضاء حكما, to decree something, to an affair to be. I won't go into the etymology of حكم and how it is related to hikmah at the moment, but what we mean here by حكم and ahkam is a property of a thing, a characteristic. It is to say something to be, what a thing is said to be. A property of a thing is a branch. Literally, it is a branch from. So if I say branch, we are immediately thinking tree, right? We have a tree. We have these branches. So over here, we have our hukum, we have our property. The property of a thing is a branch from what? What is the trunk? What are the roots? Tasawwurihi. Its concepts. That first there is the conceptualization of a thing. In fact, concept is the wrong word. Concept is a mistranslation of tasawwur. If you remember our last video, this might be a time to pause the video, in fact. What form is tasawwur upon? Out of the forms of the verbs that we learnt, what is the form of tasawwur? Tasawwara, yatasawwaru, tasawwur. It is on the form tafa'ul, like tanazzul and ta'allum. This form is or represents a process. Ta'allum is not just to learn something in one go. Ta'allum is a process. Tanazzul is a process, a gradual process where bit by bit the thing comes down, where bit by bit a thing is learned, where bit by bit a thing is conceptualized, the surah. The root of this is surah, the form. The form of the thing is conceptualized, is a mental process. A word is conceived by a mental process, and in this conceptualization, there is a bringing together of all of its properties. But first we begin with the thing itself. First we must begin with the concept itself. We must begin with the first principle. We must begin with its definition. We must begin with its ma'na. And from this archetype, we then proceed onto its corollary properties. To give a very concrete example now. Water. Before we can answer, does water boil at 100 degrees Celsius? Your American use Fahrenheit, but I don't know what that is. 100 degrees Celsius. Does water boil at 100 degrees? To answer this question, we must know what water is. Whatever there is, whatever we are trying to understand, we have to break a sentence down into its parts, into its concepts. In fact, we have to go even further. What is water? What does it mean to boil? What is 100 degrees Celsius? It is a tree, an interrelated tree of meanings. Before we can understand the tree itself, before we can understand the proposition, we must begin with the word. This might seem very simple to people, and if it does, then alhamdulillah, it means you are upon the fitrah. If this is all very obvious, it means that you are upon the fitrah, and do not take that for granted. Because if you attend school and university, what you'll be taught is the counter opposite of this. Logic is no longer taught. The logic which is taught is the complete opposite of this. Even in mathematics, the way it is taught now is not like this. I won't go into it here, but modern mathematics prioritizes relationships and processes to things themselves. This is not the way any aspect of knowledge in the modern world works. But this is the absolute foundation of how any Quranic godly knowledge follows. That we begin with unity. This is the world view of Tawheed. This is not just a philosophical position. This is Tawheed. We say, La ilaha illallah, a corollary, a logical consequence of La ilaha illallah is that الحكم على الشيء فرع عن تصوره. Very similarly, a consequence of if we say La ilaha illallah, we must do tasdeeq. Right, tasdeeq, we must affirm the sidq, the truthfulness that Muhammadun Rasulullah. We cannot separate them. If we truly believe that La ilaha illallah, we can't stop there. There is an iman bil rusuli, bil kutubi, bil malaikati, bil yawm al akhiri. So this is a very important thing over here. We begin with the concept, with the archetype, and upon that we form propositions. Now thus, how do we learn Arabic? The answer is now absolutely settled. For example, should I learn Arabic should I first move to some Arabic country and should I start speaking with people? Do I learn Arabic by communication? Or do I need to memorize things first? Do I need to learn some words? I won't even answer the question. You tell me. Do I just go to the marketplace and start speaking to people in Arabic? Or do I sit down and study words? I will not even answer what you should do. It should be clear here. That is why there is a way to learn, there is a way to study, there is a way to live. Upon these axioms, upon these foundations of principles, there is a way to do this. So first we learn words, but then we learn the trees. We begin with the roots. We begin with the root letters. We begin with the root of words. We learn the words in the tree and how words are derived from other words. This is exactly what we have been doing step by step. And now we learn sentences upon words. We learn sentences upon words. Every word is, tasawwur, it's a conceptualization. When I say water, that means that water is not just a single thing. There is not just some idea of water in the mind, full stop. It's just separated somewhere. No, water, the idea of water, is an entire diagram of interrelated concepts. When I say water, you immediately have some image of water. Perhaps a flowing stream, perhaps a glass of water, changes depending upon your mood and your memories and experiences. But there is a conceptualization, a process. You have interrelated concepts. When I think water, I think flowing or clear or still. I think rain. I think flood. I think sea and river. Then from this tasawwur, from this root seed of the meaning, naturally the tree flowers out. Naturally the sentences form from the words. That water flows. That the crystal clear river flows. That al-ma'u yajri. Al-ma'u yuruqu. Al-ma'u tahiru yajri. That there is al-bahar, the sea. There is al-nahar, the river. There is al-buhayra, the lake. That al-mataru yanhamiru, that rain pours down. This is how you learn the Arabic language. That you have, in fact, ideally I'd like some more space if I have it somewhere. Then I can squeeze it over here. Again, it's this diagram. You have the world. I'm going to give two circles this time, or three. You have the world. Now, actually, over here, we have language. Learning language. I mean, right, the physical Arabic language, actually learning and memorizing. You might think of this as Lughat al-Arab, and this one as Lughat al-Arabiyya. If people remember that distinction. of the world. Let me simply say the Arabic language, let's say, as a form of communication. And over here we have Arabic itself as the Arabic communion, the Arabic meanings, al-Arabiya herself. In our mind, in the soft darkness of the soul, all meanings are contained. The truth is that the spirit speaks Arabic. You know Arabic. You know al-Arabiya. This is speaking about the physical Arabic, the physical form of Arabic, which well, none of us have really. We have to learn it. Again, you tell me, how do I do that? Look at the diagram. Remember the physical principles. It should be obvious. We begin with the inward language, the inward communion of Arabic, al-Arabiya. We begin with the heart and the spirit. Upon the spirit, we learn the Arabic words. We learn the physical Arabic. That what I spoke about, these diagrams of meanings, all of these meanings are contained here as diagrams. We have these chains and graphs and structures of meaning, these constellations of meaning inside of the soul. Now, what we do is we learn these constellations of meaning as words, as physical learned words, upon the mind. We begin with these ma'ani. We begin with these ma'ani, these ontological diagrams of meanings. I'll maybe put it here. In fact, I'm going to do it over here on the side. There's a diagram of meanings. Upon this diagram of meanings, we learn the diagram of structures, which is the words, the actual physical words. Upon al-Arabiya, we learn Lughatul Arab, this language. Now, what you might also, well, what you might realize now is that, in fact, let me ask a question, a rhetorical question. Think about this. Why do some people learn the Arabic language easier than others? In fact, what can I do to learn the Arabic language better, to learn it in the most easiest way? How can I learn the diagram of structures in the most easiest way? Who is that who will most clearly learn this diagram of structures? In fact, I was going to say they say, but no, we believe that the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he knew the entire Arabic language. He knew every single word which exists in the Arabic language, he knew. He knew the entire Arabic language. And he is perhaps the only human being who has ever done that. How did he do that? Was it because he had the best memory? No, we know he had a great memory, but is that the reason? Was it because he was best educated? Is it because he went to the best Arabic school? There are some physical factors, of course. Of course, grew in the time of the pinnacle of the Arabic language in the tribe of the Quraysh. Okay, but are these the reasons? There are other Qurayshi people. Hopefully what becomes clear is this. He who has the clearest diagram of meanings shall learn the diagram of structures best and most easiest. He who had and has the most clearest diagram of meanings, that is, he whose ma'ani are in perfect accordance with the ma'ani of God, is the Prophet. Because he was utterly fitri, an-nabiyul ummi. He was ummi. Do not say unlettered. Do not say that he was unlettered. Rather, he had perfect knowledge of the letters. He had pure, perfect knowledge of the letters. His soul was utterly crystalline, perfect, pure. It was so pure that it could receive the Arabic language utterly. The truth is, and this goes maybe into, this will be too spiritual for many people, and they're going to channel what I'm saying. But this is the truth. The truth is that if your soul was sparkling with clarity, you would not even need a teacher to learn Arabic. In fact, I believe that if you had nothing at all and you literally just went into a desert for a sufficient period of time. Of course, probably not possible for people nowadays, but if, let's say, you had 1,000 years to just wander the desert, and you were in a perfectly pure state of soul, you would learn the Arabic language exactly as she is, without a teacher at all, directly from nature, directly from God. Practically speaking, maybe we cannot do that, but what we can do is realize that to learn the Arabic language, we must clean our souls. When the soul is clean, when the soul is pure, it will receive naturally these structures. We do not cling onto it. It's not a process of taking, this is a process of receiving, allowing the Arabic to be impressed upon our souls, to simply run into the deepest part of the heart and settle there. The heart is blocked, cannot run in. If the heart is open, it will run and settle into that deepest root, into the suwayda, as we say in Arabic. Suwayda ul-qalb refers to the deepest hidden, dark part of the heart, where the spirit resides. A heart which is open shall receive this meaning directly into that innermost center. But now we have a diagram of meanings in the soul. If we are attuned with nature, if we are so attuned with the fitrah, we understand, for example, let's say the water cycle. We understand that, there is a body of water. Let's say there is the sea or the ocean, that, water rises, that there is evaporation, that there is there is air, there is the subtle form of water. And there's then the coagulation, congealment, the crystallization of water into clouds, into ice, into snow, that it then rains down upon the mountain, that from the mountain forms a river, that the river widens and gushes and flows down, right? That there is rain, that returns to the river, to the ocean. This is a diagram of meanings. Abstract away the words. Imagine you did not know the words for any of these things in English, but you know the ma'ani. That is, the words, but not physically, the noetic, ideatic words. Now, this diagram is contained in the soul. This is a diagram of ma'ani. Right? If we understand reality itself, if we are one with nature, we have this diagram very clearly inside of ourselves. Just as rain falls down upon the river valleys, so the rain of the Arabic language shall rain down upon ourselves and fill the valleys of the heart. That the word for sea, al-bahr, river, nahar, water, al-ma', air, al-hawa', that's, for clouds, as-sahaba, al-ghamima, al-ghama'im, and the mountain, al-jabal. All these words will completely fall down naturally. So what we do is, upon this diagram of meaning, upon this picture of and this clear idea, we learn the words. Right? We literally draw this diagram, whether physically or mentally, and we then learn the words. We learn the word of the sea, which is al-bahr. We don't just memorize it from a dictionary, but according to this knowledge of letters, we commune. We commune with this meaning of al-bahr. What is the ba? What is the ha? What is the ra? Right? Al-ba'u ba'u bidaya. Al-ha'u ha'u al-hadrati wal-hilta. Al-ra'u ra'u al-takrar. وهي البحر. There's an internal logic to this word. What is the form? Fa'alun. The roots, baha, ra, the form fa'alun. We learn and study this. We do that for every word here. Al-bahr, al-nahar, al-jabal. We do that for the cloud, as-sahab, or there's actually many words for clouds. Al-anan, al-ghamima. For subtle and dense. For snow, thalj, and the process of tafalluj, and so on and so on and so on, and matar. And then upon this, after learning the words, we put them together into sentences. So, for example, al-ma'u yajri. The water runs, the water flows. الماء يجري. That السحاب يمطر أو يرعد. There is thunder. The cloud breaks and gives forth water. We learn all these words and verbs and nouns. We form the sentences of حكم فرع and تصوره. We form the letter, or sorry, the tree. فرع, فروع, تفرع. There's a process of branching out of the words and the sentences from the root. From these ma'ani, there is a process of giving rise to the tree in the mind. To learn the Arabic language is for this tree to naturally be formed in the mind. Let's just leave this video here. I shall speak more about this next time, in particular about the embodied nature of learning the Arabic language, that we can learn the Arabic language, and we must, not just upon the tongue, not just in the mind, but the fingers speak Arabic. Every nerve in the body speaks Arabic. When we pray and we bow ourselves down, that is a form of communication, and the body speaks Arabic. That we learn the Arabic of everything, that the khushuna, khushana, khukhana, these are words which mean roughness. The roughness of the kha, khukhana is thick, thick. We learn these words and meanings according to the meanings of the letters. That there's an embodied way to learn the Arabic language. We shall speak about that next time. And I shall draw up a table of correspondences to different levels of Arabic, and therefore the different levels at which we must learn. But for now, this is the key. What I want you to take away from this video is thus. Learning Arabic begins with the learning of the soul. First and foremost, the soul must have conceived all these meanings. We learn that twofold. One, by being clear, by being clean inwardly. Tazkiyah to nafs, by the spiritual path of clearing the soul, cleaning the heart, becoming pure and empty and still, communing with God in private meditation and silence and prayer and worship. But also, secondly, exploring the world, communing with the world, because the world, al-alam, is the revelation of God, studying the signs of nature, studying these things, actually being with the river, being with the water. Many people cannot learn words easily because they are so divorced from the meaning of what they are learning. Let's say I try to learn the meaning of all these things, jabal, 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 nahar. It's not going in. When was the last time you actually visited a mountain? When was the last time you climbed a mountain? When was the last time you saw a crystal clear stream and you put your hand into it and you drank its water? If you have not done this physical learning, then how are you expecting to learn the Arabic language? Just by reading a book again and again. That is not learning. Don't just read a book on a piece of paper. Read the book of God. Read the book of God. With your eyes read. With your nose read. Read with your ears. Read with every pore of your body. Read with every nerve of your body. Read the signs of God wherever they are. Study the stars, the moon, the sun. Listen to the wind. Taste the wind. This is a spiritual path. The more spiritual we become, the more physical we become. Right? Spirituality is not the antithesis of physicality. The more we are in touch, communed, connected with our bodies, the world, the cosmos, with God. That is the diagram of meanings in the soul. Upon that, this diagram of structures will most readily and most easily be formed. It shall, like a rain, fill up the valleys of the heart. With a thunderous torrential outpouring it shall run down. A mighty river it shall become. The Arabic language shall flow through our mind, even as blood flows through our veins. The Arabic language shall become your mother language because she is An-Nabiyul Ummi, connected to his mother, not just to his physical mother, but to his spiritual mother. All of our spiritual mothers is this Arabic language. a fundamental part is silatul rahim of our religion, of this deen, is silatul rahim. Even as we bind the cords which connect our bodies, even as we connect onto the physical rahim which bore us and gave birth to us, we are also enjoying to connect to the spiritual womb which nurtured us and gave birth to us. The rahmah, these meanings, Arabic. Let us leave this there. And I think this is one of the most important videos that I had made. This is really the essence of how to actually learn the Arabic language. I have said a lot. I have put a lot of thinking points there, which I want you to think about, to contemplate. And if you do this inward spiritual work, I personally promise you, and you can hold me liable if it does not work, that the physical process of learning Arabic shall follow most easily afterwards. Inshallah. Let's just leave this there, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.